You're in the woods. You hear the quiet howling of a pack of wolves, the rustling of tall grass in the wind. To your left, a monster climbs out of the trees, glowing an unnatural shade of blue. But you're not afraid, because you're the hunter, not the hunted. What does scare you, though, is other hunters. Monsters, dragons, and the lunatics that hunt them. It's a jungle out there. In nearly a decade of competitive League of Legends, one role has changed more frequently, more dramatically than any other. But in every year, after every rework, and despite every nerf, a resilient group of players have made it their mission to master it. This is the story of League of Legends' jungle, and of those players brave and bold enough to conquer it. Jungling wasn't always a core part of League of Legends. In the game's earliest days, the 2-1-2 meta was more popular and viable in a huge range of configurations. And a big reason for that is that the jungle camps hit hard. In the days before Season 1, jungle camps were unpredictable, and it was easy to miss out on experience for the ones you did manage to kill. But soon, players began to realize that ignoring the gold and experience offered by jungle creeps was inefficient, and they started to disappear into the wilderness to hunt monsters and champions. And by the time competitive play began to truly pick up in 2010, jungling was seen as a standard part of the game.
And so I'm going to wait to call out the lane matchup until they get spotted by minions, but unsurprisingly, both teams will be running a jungler.
But that's not to say that jungling in Season 1 was a refined art. And junglers like Malphite and Warwick, who boasted both sustain and ganking potential, dominated.
In Season 1, the jungle meta was really individually heavy, where the junglers were able to gank every lane because trinkets were not there yet. Everyone just tried to outplay one another mechanically, and it was a pretty fun meta actually.
By the time Season 2 came around, several quality of life changes had made jungling more straightforward. Clearing camps was easier, and more champions were viable than ever. And it was in that era of creativity and discovery that one of the game's seminal junglers rose to prominence.
If I would to describe myself as a player to someone, as I was in Season 2, I would say that this guy just doesn't know the rules.
He definitely wanted to jungle his own style, and he didn't want to adapt to what everyone else was doing. Whenever he was trying something new out, it would usually go well, and like a lot of other players and teams would try the things out, and they wouldn't have as great of a success as he did. So I think that's like the main reason why he's considered really good.
Daniel Diamondprox Reshetnikov was a pioneer in the jungle. As part of the dominant Moscow 5 roster, he terrorized the rest of the game's best junglers.
In 2012, every jungler was really bad. I was just a little bit better, or maybe just better than all of them. Just because everyone was thinking about their side of the jungle, like something like there's home which is secured by someone, that no one is going to invade them and fuck them up. But it was not true.
I think the counter jungling.
Wow, they do see it. It looks like eHome is going to cover on this. Will they get first blood 3 minutes into the game here? An exhaust onto Imba. Will he be able to get away? There comes Vladimir coming in again, and a nice job by Diamond to pick that first one up onto Imba. And that is something that M5 is known for, the counter jungle early in the game.
Diamonds is going to go in, he smites it straight away on towards I Will Dominate. First blood will be coming down here. You can see meanwhile they're pushing across towards Gosu's Pepper. They're going to try and lock them in, but first blood for Moscow 5.
Sleazy Weezy no all by himself with three members of Moscow 5, and SK is not making any moves to help their jungler, and that's exactly what Diamondprox was talking about. I can counter jungle on my own, I need my team to help me.
Diamondprox developed a reputation for picking unusual junglers that the rest of the world underrated. He played Shyvana before she became recognized as the terror she was, and was even able to make Evelynn work.
Yeah, Peke is probably dead from this one. Misses the charm. Flash over the wall from Diamond. That's another one. 7-1-6.
And of course, he was a terror on more meta junglers too.
Pressure from Diamond going in, knowing Xiao Xiao does not have the escape. Illusion comes in, taking quite a bit of damage. The second bomb is on. Diamond Proc safeguarding, kicking him back as well.
Low, there is the Valkyrie away, but they are going to get in on towards Gosu Pepper. Could this be first blood? There comes the Lee Sin, the Q's collected, and there is the first blood from Lee Sin.
They have managed to dive on towards Locust here. The ulti coming out from Karthus. Oh, a good ulti kick there. That will take down half the damage. Locust will go down, and that almost certainly will force out a free dragon.
Diamond Prox had better pathing and better mechanics than other junglers in Season 2, and managed to push the game forward with his outstanding play. But even as Diamond Prox pioneered his gank-heavy creative style, Riot seemed unsure as to whether they wanted a jungler in every game. Gold value was not as high from clearing the jungle in those days, and junglers often found themselves playing more as a second support than a core, well-farmed position. Junglers in Season 2 often relied on gold generation items for income, purchased lots of wards, and tried to snowball their laners since camps were balanced around the idea that laners would often take them for backup CS. This was by design. League of Legends is, at a fundamental level, based on Dota. And in the early days, Riot was comfortable emulating their predecessor. And though jungling was viable in Dota All-Stars, it was not a permanent part of the game. In the early days of League, Riot wanted jungling to be a choice, not a necessity. But by Season 3, jungling became more than an afterthought.
It was a mixture of farming and ganking. Like, you would only gank if you had a free kill, or at least could burn a flash for free.
Take a look in the middle though. Oh my gosh, the damage up there on Alex. First blood actually picked up by Diamond.
To balance an increase to camp difficulty, Riot put the first jungle-specific items in the game: Hunter's Machete and the corresponding Spirit Stone upgrades. They changed leashing to work more like it does today, and decided that going forward, they would balance the game around a 1-1-1-2 lane setup. But though junglers in Season 3 were able to finish builds more often, fewer champions were viable in the role. Powerful, bursty mid laners like Zed and Ahri dominated the mid lane in 2013, and sometimes ganking the game's most central lane was a death sentence.
In Season 3, if you would go mid lane as a jungler and you would try to gank and mid lane would be level 6, he just one-shots you. Junglers were like only tanks kinda, so your role was to like kinda initiate and like CC for the team, and then your carries would carry the game.
Junglers might have been more secure with their place in the game in 2013, but once again they took a backseat to their carries. So it may come as no surprise that one of the most famous controlling junglers of all time rose to prominence in Season 3. Bei Bengi Xiangwun is among the most decorated players in the history of League of Legends, yet his legacy will always live in Faker's shadow. Known alternatively as the jungle itself and God's right hand, Bengi was known from the beginning for his remarkable pathing, vision control, and game sense. And he was the glue that held SKT together at Worlds in 2013.
My eyes have been on Bengi. I really like the way he plays his jungle, really vision-centric, really mobility-based, almost a second support on the map. It's what basically snowballs SKT's lead. Whenever they get ahead, they will not lose that lead ever again because Bengi is constantly warding, constantly running around helping ganks, getting where he has to be really quickly because of his mobility.
I think Bengi is actually the key here for SKT because, especially compared to Royal, these guys play a much longer laning phase. They will sit in lanes and try to outskill you, and Bengi will go make plays.
It was especially later in his career, in 2015 and 2016, that he refined his vision control and pathing-focused style. During those years, SKT tried to make a younger jungler, Blank, work for them with a more aggressive style.
Well, you can see Athena actually with Blanky, a good cleanse this time, gets off the ultimate, but Blank gonna slow him down. There's the arrow in. Athena knows he has to go all in, but he can't really do much. Dodges the first stack, but Faker jukes out of that ulti, and Blank gets himself another kill.
But in the end, In the highest pressure moments of SKT's back-to-back World Championships, it was often Bengi's stable, unflappable presence that allowed his team to excel.
Would have had to do something else, but
Gorilla wants to flank here, but he gets spotted by Bengi. Good spot for Bengi
again anyway. A quick root on Gorilla, that's goodbye! Look for the harass, got hit in return, and now the double bomb forcing the flash of Kuro, the stun and a faker, not gonna matter, because he already had the ulti off the side. And Bengi again, now the double kill, the flash heal for Bang to turn it around, but look at the trade damage.
Just looking at Chunk here, maybe kill. Flash.
Red buff on a play, and goodbye. Bengi lands the javelin, red buff over the jungler after all.
SKT fight their way back in elimination game. Bengi subs back and he saves SKT. Now we're going to game 5.
To control the bottom side of this map.
Ooh, Shockwave's gonna land all the damage they need! And it won't be up in time, but they don't know that. Okay, 2,700, but he can't do it with fight. It's gonna be all about this. He's in the pit, and it's the kill on the Peanut. Fight for either side, and it goes to Spep to try to save the game, but it's so many kills coming through for SKT. Spep cannot pick up Bang, and it's a 4 for 0.
What the hell just happened? Bengi goes in. He stops Peanut from being able to secure the Baron.
And it's all that she wrote for this one. SK Telecom T1 backs against the wall. Bengi himself 3-0 against Rocks Tigers in the series. And SKT punched their ticket to their 3rd World Final.
It's easy to overlook Bengi, but alongside Faker, he remains the only player to have ever secured 3 World Championships. And it was his style of jungling that allowed the greatest player of all time to shine. And in stark contrast to Bengi's slower, controlling play, 2013 saw another huge development in the jungle, one that was about nothing but mechanics. Choi In-Sek In-Seok's legendary Lee Sin kick changed everything for junglers.
Definitely impactful for this game.
And the fact is, nobody talks about who will maybe get that as Lee Sin is going to go in the on towards Yellow Pete. He gets knocked up. Kennan's going to go into the middle, but Yellow Pete will die. Madline's going to fall down as well. Edward going very, very low, gets a pull off in the end, but they're ripping through the rest of them. Double kills coming out for Jai, and they're not done just yet. They're going to chase down Diamond.
The ward in kickback by In-Sek on Lee Sin is so potent, and you could see that Europe just was not ready for it. They comboed up so well. The start of this fight was just so key when In-Sek comes in behind Yellow Pete, Q's in, wards back, kicks in. That is so hard to execute. Even though Europe tried to combo it and made really everyone sit on the Rumble ultimate, they'd already lost their AD carry, and they burned all their CC really as a counter initiation. So the rest of Korea just chased down Europe.
No more would jungle players have to play as a second support. Now, a jungler with enough skill could carry a game. The In-Sek kick looks commonplace in modern League, but at the time, it revolutionized the jungle and pushed the boundaries of what was expected of the position.
You look at Beach here, the top side of the map looks great.
Glid went so far, he gets the In-Sek on the Mystic, but he's shielded up, and they're able to destroy him. Malone goes down in the back, and Kandi's gonna try to assassinate him, but that is way too deep. Stand United, they keep him up. Doiby goes down.
There were several tweaks to the jungle heading into 2014, including a new camp, the White, changes to Smite, and the personal ward cap. But altogether, these changes added up to a meta that finally allowed junglers to be the carry. Assassins like Rengar and Kha'Zix flourished in 2014, and the world's greatest junglers learned to sharpen their offense. Pathing, vision control, and ganking were still vital, but this time, they were doing it on aggressive champions that could build and snowball a lead.
Just coming from Clear Love, everybody getting items that they want and don't necessarily need, but they're doing the damage with. You trying to start a fight by himself. Koro, again, going into a 3v1 situation. The spikes are going to go right through and take down Touch, and they're in the base for the win.
He gets the triple kill. He's going to go for the quadra. Crystal gets down. There's the quadra kill.
Go for it.
Will Naru give it up? Can they go on towards the Valto? He's going to see Naru. He wants to go.
And Well, there's a reason 2014 remains many older junglers' favorite season.
More backs.
And they're going to get that as well. Insect is actually really low. Flashing from Dyrus going for the kill. Who's it to And Dyrus goes down. Insect's still alive.
And perhaps no jungler better embodied and dominated this meta than Samsung White's Choi Dandy in Q. Along with the rest of Samsung White, at Worlds 2014, Dandy was the linchpin in a strategy that revolved around invading for vision alongside his support, Mata.
It is such a performance here, but White. They catch Pawn. Let's see what happens.
That's the flash for the Idle Duran. We were saying it had to happen, but it's an all-in. You have to get out. Spirit with a nice jump to the back. He could have that reset to get out, but the mana's quite low. Dandy's trying to get the fight on. Has Vision in the brush. Now into the base. Dade goes down. Mata's going to pick up doubles there. Tries to throw a tornado. He cuts him down out of the air, peeling his wings right off. The inhibitor turret going to go down 26 and a half minutes in.
I mean, that's why Dandy's Rengar is so legendary.
Samsung White would often light up the map and snowball leads into early victories.
Samsung White leaving just 2 men left alive. Will focus in on the Nexus, and after less than 23 minutes here, we'll pick up the victory against AHQ.
Dandy and Mata pushed the jungle support synergy to a whole new level, and though he never again saw the success he enjoyed in 2014, during that year of assassinations and fast-paced play, few shone quite as bright.
Emperor gets caught by Emperor on the outside. They do take out Mata very early. Everyone extremely grouped up right now. Looper getting in there with the AoE. It's getting scary, and Dandy coming in. There's a kill for Looper. Dandy comes in to try to get the reset. Another kill for Imp as well. There's Dandy with another. He's got the double.
And Shy will just make sure he doesn't take too much damage here in the top lane. So Swift.
Oh, Swift get caught. There's a Cocoon. Oh,
Wow.
He pulls him in. Mata hits him with the death sentence and pulls him right out of that safeguard. It's dodging those spears, Samsung chasing. They could turn on to Baron right now. They're not doing it though. Dandy chases, there's the execute on Mad Life.
By the end of 2014, junglers were accustomed to the constant changes to their position. But that offseason saw perhaps the biggest shift of any year. Riot didn't just change items. They didn't just adjust certain camps. They threw out the entire map. 2015's Summoner's Rift redesign pushed League's visual design into the modern era. But the gameplay changes that accompanied the redesign hit the jungle the hardest. Red and blue buff remained largely unchanged, and there were still wolves on the map, but every other camp was completely changed. For starters, Wraiths became Raptors, the White became Grom, and the Golems became the Krugs, which in late 2016 were changed into the Russian nesting doll, clear time eviscerating nightmare that they are today.
Oh no, the Krugs. Now, Peanut died on Jarvan to the Krugs in the 2017 Kespa Cup, and I still private message him when I'm streaming and say, we don't care, the Krugs. This is why.
And that was just the camps. In the river, things weren't done changing. Riot added the peaceful Rift Scuttler, a crab that roamed the river to provide gold and vision to whoever killed it. They changed Dragon from an objective that gave the team flat gold to a new stacking buff. They changed Baron buff from a stat buff to a buff to nearby minions.
I just really like the way Baron and Dragon have been changed to the way the Dragon buffs work right now. They put a timer on the game. 5th Dragon buff is really important. I like what Baron brings in terms of sieging. So now when I cannot be useless as a support in mid game. I can just walk to that lane, buff those creeps, and become my own split pusher.
Basically, the jungle as we knew it was turned upside down. And by the end of 2015, Riot added the Rift Herald.
If Crumbs dies here. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Run!
Woo! He's angry!
Wait a minute!
Oh my god!
No, another! Wait! Oh my god!
A new neutral objective that provided a buff to whoever claimed it. The Rift Herald was envisioned as a way to combat the balance of early objectives towards the bottom of the map, and would go through several reworks over the years.
Because that is a Rift Herald in the middle of Fnatic's base at 20 minutes. Khan can cut through these towers in an instant. Fnatic are out of options. They've got one last chance, one opportunity to try to seize a fight, but there is nothing in their wheelhouse. There is nothing in the toolkit. All they see is Nasus in front of them. This game is the story of Khan farming it up and bringing it home.
But all told, the Rift Herald, or Shelly, as she's been affectionately nicknamed, changed the way every team thinks about objectives.
Whoever doesn't control that is actually giving up on something. If you stay safe and farm under tower, that's an objective you've just lost.
Main goal of this one is give burly dudes who win top a thing that lets them show, cool, I win. This is what you better stop me from getting.
In 2015 and 16, a new wave of junglers made their names on the new map. New junglers like Han, Peanut, Wang Ho. Peanut first made a name for himself ranking up on the Korean solo queue ladder, but he got his first shot at greatness when he joined the Rox Tigers in 2016. Peanut was a charismatic, aggressive young player whose big personality fit in well with the over-the-top Tigers. But more importantly, his aggressive jungle style was exactly the shot in the arm the Tigers needed.
This group of players that had either retired or been rejected by other teams comes in, no big sponsor, no big team house. It's not necessary because they are going to win LCK Summer and they are going to get a spot in Worlds again. There it is, Rox Tigers take it, GG, it's about time.
Peanut took 2014's blueprint for carry junglers and combined it with his brashness to become an absolute terror. Peanut didn't just kill you in 2016, he made you feel it.
The re-engage on Gorilla means nothing because suddenly Peanut is here on the Olaf, a flash forced out of Gorilla, but he is still chasing on the Deft, who's nearly out of HP. The chase in for Prey, first blood, that's 2 for Peanut, it might be a third, and the re-engage for Coro 1. Can he do much of anything?
Also worth noting is sort of par for the course.
Yeah, Wolf getting caught at level 4. Here's the jump in, a few more attacks will do it, and that's first blood. Peanut with the flash kick on the bang. That was beautiful, and they make it a double kill for Prey.
Now he has to get really scared, and he also has to tell Duke to worry out a little bit.
Oh, there he is. The Brash, there it is. It's Peanut. A lot of damage down, 300 HP on Bengi. The repel the chase. Couple more attacks. The flash. One more Q will get him, and Peanut solo kills for first blood.
And though he's since matured as a player, Peanut will always be known for his crazy invades, his total fearlessness on carries, and for the reckless abandon that gave us some of the greatest League series of all time. The other big change that came with 2015's map redesign was a rework for jungle items. Now, Hunter's Machete would transform into one of 4 items, giving a range of bonuses. Skirmisher's Saber gave Smite a buff to dueling. Stalker's Blade gave Smite a slow. Ranger's Trailblazer gave Smite an AoE on jungle monsters. And Poacher's Knife gave you bonuses for killing camps in the enemy jungle. Those upgrades have gone through some iterations, like the coming and going of Tracker's Knife, the jungle warding item. But Riot seemed generally happy with that structure. However, the enchantments to jungle items have consistently wreaked havoc on the game's balance. Cinderhulk fundamentally warped the nature of tanks in spring 2015, briefly turning Sejuani into an unkillable raid boss, and totally changing the jungle meta to focus on tanks.
Without hitting, Righteous Glory doesn't really get him there. Medium with a 5-man Sejuani ultimate. If TSM can make it through this, they got it. But Cloud9 is locking them down. Bjergsen on the outside, he gets swapped in with the position reverser. How is TSM still alive in this one? They are doing everything they can, but Cloud9 closes the door on that fight.
Runeglaive was such a disaster in 2015 that mid laners took Smite just to prioritize it over all other items before it was hotfixed.
Flash away from Bjergsen.
Ida just cost himself the life. Wild Growth goes out, Boomerang goes across, True Shot Barrage for the finish. So many things that can come across to kill you. Ninja goes.
And Devourer's various versions have existed for years in a constant state of either completely changing the game or being totally unpickable. Riot has to walk a fine line with these enchantments. Fundamentally, their goal is to allow every class of jungler a way to clear their camps. Camps that have been steadily buffed since the game's early days and now are basically unkillable early without jungle items. But making them too powerful can lead laners to take Smite in order to abuse effects designed to kill jungle creeps with quite a bit more HP than champions.
A quadra kill just like that for the Orianna. Can he secure it up? Yes, he can. A pentakill for Power of Evil. Rune
in the first game in the Unicorns of Love.
Midway through 2016, Riot took a new approach to dragons, adding elemental dragons to the Rift that each provide a different bonus.
You should see teams contesting these much more because these dragons are all more powerful than the dragons you saw last year. And contrary to popular belief, every single dragon is actually very strong. And I actually think they're very close in power. They're just strong in different parts of the game.
They also added the Elder Dragon, which took the game-ending place of the old 5th dragon. And at the end of 2016, Riot decided to make another big change, introducing plants to the Summoner's Rift. The Blast Cone, Scryer's Bloom, and Honeyfruit were another attempt by Riot to implement some controlled RNG to the game. And they changed map options for all roles, but perhaps most strongly affected junglers.
They're slowed for like 35% when you take them, when you eat them, so there will be fights around the river all the time. So I don't really mind Honeyfruit as well. I really just think the Blast Cone is kind of strange. And not necessarily what I expected when I think of, I'm going to be the jungler. And as a jungler, my role in this game is to use the Blast Cone to elevate me to new heights over the wall to steal this dragon. I don't know, just seems really random.
2017's jungle meta focused on tanky initiators, but this time it wasn't a young gun who dominated the year. Rather, it saw the resurgence of one of the game's most veteran players. Ambition wasn't always a jungler. He switched the position from mid in one of the most successful role swaps ever. And after years of struggling to put his mark on the professional scene, Ambition triumphed in 2017.
Condi sends his regards. Ambition's looking for one back, but there's support. Shie's come up. Let's go for another tower dive, boys. Shie's got the backup of Condi. And 957, not going to be enough. Ambition gets one back, and WE, they've bitten off more than they can chew.
The world's meta favored tanky initiators, right in Ambition's wheelhouse.
Tusson's gonna be spotted. Oh my god, that flash body slam was out of control, but delivered underneath the turret. Ambition more than happy to go against this.
And after searching for a big win for years, he shone on the game's biggest stage.
Almost gets himself the solo kill, now forced to run away, but guides forward, gets away from the knockup, gets rooted in and Crown gets himself that kill in the mid lane, 5-0 in the game.
Not in position to fight. Slam explosive cast does not do much, though the ults are down. Here comes the re-engage once again for Ambition, wants to add the damage. Look at the blade, Colorado Ruler, do they have the my god! Triple knockup, the follow through for Cuban!
From the rest of the team,
just engage! Get the stun on a Ruler, gets pushed back, he's gonna stay alive. Another re-engage, a giant silence at a Cuban, and he blows up, bang! That's a 1-0, the chase-in is there, and they're gonna get rid of the bot lane entirely. There's no carries left for SKT. The chase to be had, Samsung Galaxy now in control of the river. That signals the end of the SKT dynasty. There are no turrets. It is 5 versus 3. Huni, do you have what it takes to win the game? Bang certainly does not. Ruler on the Nexus. The upset is complete as the kills come through. The SKT dynasty is over. All hail the new kings. Samsung Galaxy, your 2017 World Champions.
In summer 2018, Riot made another drastic change to the game, one that changed bot lane picks. It was intended to give teams the chance to play champions beyond marksmen in the position, but the reverberations reached all the way to the jungle, where a new style took off: funneling. Funnel comps saw teams pair either a mid lane or jungle support with a hyper carry.
Oh god, that's funneling, baby. It's all about that funnel.
Do we have sick bags on the desk? I need one.
They're gonna knock up 2. Let's see the Baron doing all the work for him. Perks picking up a killing spree on the Mundo. Baron's still up for grabs. Double kill, down goes Amazing. And Shalkar gonna get cleaned off the map. That's a triple kill for Perks. Make that a quadra and pick up the Baron to boot.
And push all the farm from both the lane and the jungle onto one champion.
The win condition for it is basically, it's obviously has to be a really broken combo between this kind of like support and jungle mid lane or whatever. So you see a lot of like Nunu Karthus, which is kind of like cheese, but The original was like Taric Master Yi.
Bizarre compositions like Taric Master Yi dominated the meta for a portion of the summer.
To me, the only reason you'd first pick the Nunu is take the Cutlass, and we might have Taric Yi against it. We're getting it!
It's happening!
We're popping off in the first game!
It's the first game of LCK 2018 summer, and we're gonna get it right away. Karthus gets
Holy
locked
crap!
in. There is no secret as to what's going on now.
And even as Riot made the strategy less effective, some teams, like Europe's G2, continued to employ it throughout the year.
But I also have a message for Riot Games. Please just change the gold funneling strat so I don't need to play Braum again. I love the fact that sometimes you can go for the gold funneling instead of normal jungle. I think it's fun. Maybe my team is just not being nice and they are just douchebags and they're just putting me on Braum every game. Maybe it's because of my team. I don't know.
For better or for worse, funnel compositions dramatically warped the way jungle was played for much of the year. But by the end of the year, funnel had fallen out of favor.
Funnel getting nerfed. Basically, if you're funneling and you have a hunter's item, you're going to gain a lot less gold. Now, you can still choose to funnel and have smite and not buy machete, which is probably going to be the next step of that thing. You just don't gain machete XP, which will be a pretty substantial nerf to your XP gain, but that just might be what happens. Either way, a small nerf to funneling. Funneling being less common is, I think, happy for almost everyone who plays League of Legends.
And at Worlds, in a year that saw Korea struggle internationally, junglers like Broxa and Ning stepped in to fill the void.
Now they're going to try for another one, though, and this one, Body Slam stops the queue. Here comes Baolan as well. 2v1, Broxa may have bit off more than he can chew. The health bar's running down. The kick, the Q, the second! That was gorgeous!
League of Legends has almost always been a game defined by its 5 roles. And over the years, every position has seen its fair share of change.
They're going for 4. Now will it be the pentakill? Go, Dragon, go, Kaiser!
But no position has demanded as much flexibility from its players as the jungle.
He's going in onto Ares! He's gonna get another kill! And he's looking for Ignar as well!
No role has required players to play every class of champion, sometimes at the same time. No role has required the same amount of map awareness or decision making.
Does get out of this one, but now they're going in. Big damage to dive in for Nocturne. Where's the flash going to be? The chase in. He pulls him back. What a play as Smithy keeps his teammate alive.
The jungle is League's hardest role, and the players who've mastered it have etched their names into the history of esports forever. They've played.
Everyone else feels a bit scattered or kind of a bit weighted to one side. You know, you look at Vici, like the top side of the map looks great.
Clid went so far. He gets the insect on the Mystic, but he's shielded up, and they're able to destroy him. Malone goes down in the back, and Condi's going to try to assassinate him, but that is way too deep. Stand United, they keep him up. Doiby goes down.
They've adapted.
He's going to get caught by those crit call shots, but Teddy, he's low. Here comes Peanut in underneath the turret. Doesn't matter if he's exhausted, still comes up with a kill.
And they've conquered.
Yeah, the fact is, nobody talks about who will maybe get that as Lee Sin is going to go in the towards Yellow Pete. He gets knocked up. Tennant's going to go into the middle, but Yellow Pete will die. Low, there is the Valkyrie away, but they are going to get in on towards Gosu Pepper. Could this be first blood? There comes the Lee Sin, the Q's collection, and there is the first blood from Lee Sin.
Ooh, Shockwave's going to land all the damage they need!
Trying to start a fight by himself. Koro, again, going into a 3v1 situation. The spikes are going to go right through and take down Touch, and they're in the base for the win.
He gets the triple kill. He's going to go for the Quattro. Crystal gets down. There's the Quattro kill.
Go for it.
Will Naru give it up? Can they go on towards the Falto? He's going to see Naru. He wants to go.
Peanut has Guardian Angel. Maybe he plays frontline. How much can they really get? Prey turns up. Can I turn? Looks for bang. Looks for it all. He's got one. What else can he get? It's going to be Blake in his sights.
He's coming back.
Baker's low. How much more can they get? The stun's coming in. And it's Duke with the big play. But the turnaround from Prey. Turning it back in. The chase. The resonating strike. And the ace goes through for Peanut.
These fights are...
Thanks for watching. If you want more great content just like this, be sure to hit the subscribe button.